Welcome into another episode of The Right Stuff. It's episode 31. Holy cow, that's a lot of episodes. Brought to you by Empire Games, coming out of sometimes lovely, always educating Anderson, South Carolina. I'm Yannie, here with Nathan, who was playing some non-Blood Bowl games.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm a semi-professional Star Wars Unlimited player. When I'm not delivering a beatdown in Blood Bowl, I'm delivering a beatdown in Star Wars Unlimited. Mm-hmm. I had a top 8 performance in Goose Creek. I went down to a store called Synergy Games. I got to give them a shout out. It's a pretty neat store. They actually had some old Blood Bowl stuff on the shelf. I couldn't believe it. They had some of the 2016 boxes, the ones that were like black with like the gray slate with like the team on top of it. They had like a bunch of those. I was very tempted to pick some of that up when I was down there. I looked for some dice, but they did not have any dice, which is not a shocker, I don't think. So,
yeah. Well, that's awesome. Nice to give another store a shout out.
Yeah, they had a animal store that was attached to it, and Goose Creek, South Carolina, is down by Charleston, so right on the coast. The owners apparently of the store also bred geckos, and they named the store Lizards of the Coast.
It's an excellent name. Are they putting out?
This is not a joke. I mean, I guess besides the name of the store being a joke, but this is what they named their store. Yeah. This is a serious thing that happened to me. The guys that I drove down there with the trip, we were just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
So,
how many new color variations of geckos are they putting out a year at Lizards of the Coast?
I don't think their production can meet the demand of the player base.
Fair enough. All right.
The universe is beyond Seraphon.
Oh, there you go. That's the crossover we all need.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got games to talk about this week. Some surprising outcomes, some nails put in coffins for people.
Yeah.
And then we have a slightly clearer look at the playoff picture for one division at least.
Yeah. So. Yeah. One is like very close to wrapped up.
Mm. Yeah. But we can just jump right in with some games.
Yeah, it was good.
So week 11 catch-up games. We had Second Act and the Wretched Foul Fangs. I guess I could talk most about this game. So it was a 3-2 win for Underworld. Notes I had from this game, I think it could have easily been a draw, but Griff got knocked out on like turn 10 and did not come back in after he had like multiple opportunities to come back in the second half and never came back in.
I mean, it looked like both teams were trading blows back and forth. They both done some substantial damage.
Yeah, the bodyguard with tackle was doing a lot of work, just kind of getting in the middle. Yeah. Being able to just like put that piece somewhere, and then pieces trying to dodge away. It's like, nope, you can't.
Yep.
So that was a pretty interesting game to watch, especially because those are my last two opponents. So call it journalistic research or opposition scouting.
Yeah, watching the tape.
Yeah. Either way.
You'll catch me. The Spygate scandal.
Yeah, catch me in a couple weeks as an assistant coach from Michigan. So, yeah, and then we've got some more games from both those teams to talk about later. So, be interesting. Next up for week 11, we had Looking for Trouble, and the Jolly Rotters under new management was a 2-1 win for the Goblins.
Yep, mayhem abounds when the Goblins are around. I think if you are not prepared for Goblins, and I think a new player may not be prepared for Goblins, then it may feel like the Goblin team is cheating in some ways. Mm-hmm. But it looks like Bryson was splattering Goblins left and right, which is what they have a tendency to happen to them. And that game was getting played right when we were recording the last podcast, so we could have done some sideline reporting at the time. If we had our druthers about us, but I guess we didn't.
Yeah, and looking at that, there's 11 casualties between the two teams. On top of fouls, the Ooligan seems like it's just going in and kind of escorting people off the pitch rather quickly.
Yeah.
Which I think led to that part of the game. Because I think, like, Bryson, coming from playing Black Orcs, is like, familiar with the fouling game, I think, to an extent. But
you probably never had a dirty player to mix it up with.
Yeah, when you got a team like that is coming in, that's all about fouling.
Yeah. Did you ever watch those old... This is like an internet thing from like 15, 20 years ago, back when like people who were trying to make like either practice squads or make the NFL, they'd put together like highlight reels of them like punting or kicking field goals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they would just be drilling footballs, 50 yards or something like that. That's the way I imagine sneaky get dirty players when they just get an injury every single time. Mm-hmm. They're just punting players into the stands just over and over and over again.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. That's our Catches Week 11, Week 12. Now, here's the first game that has real playoff implications. We had Tryhards and Taisho Caron. It was a 2-1 win for Ness.
Yeah. Not what you're looking for if you're Chris, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a coffin nail.
Yeah, that is elimination from playoff contention at this point. Ness seemed like he kind of pulled off like the gym framework. Like,
did you catch that Chris even had an interception?
I did see that. Yeah.
You don't want to try to pass over his slant, man. That's like their thing.
Yeah, that is true. It's like the one team that is really good at doing that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Ness still managed to score on that drive though, apparently. So.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was I wasn't sure if it was like a touchdown, then interception, or if it might have been like a misordering of things in tour play, where there was an interception to be a score. But yeah, either way, that is Ness like secured his playoff spot, knocking Chris down. So you gotta, I guess, sacrifice a few frogs for glory.
What are other tortured frog metaphors we could use? I don't know. I'm not hurting my back reaching for them. So
yeah, fair enough. Next we got Gondolin Glory Hounds, Renegades of Funk.
What a game!
Yeah.
What a game! Did you get the status report on that one?
I did not get a full status report.
Okay,
so if you got one, I'll take it.
Yeah, I got it through the grapevine. So, the Renegades execute the game plan, run out the first half, score turn 8. Right? Exactly what you want to do. Give the elves one turn to score. Mm-hmm. They fail. And I think during that time, for the most part, neither team really did a whole lot of damage to the other. There were, I think the one agility catcher got fouled out. And it looks like also another catcher got fouled out during that time. Mm-hmm. So Sean probably feels like he's in good standing. Jim gets the ball at the half, scores in 2, and he was debating whether he should play for the draw or play for the win. He opts to go for the win. Sets up on defense. Sean sets up on offense. Jim rolls blitz. Sean starts his drive with the ball in the hands of an elf. And because of the way the blitz shook out, Sean is able to pop the ball loose, but the only player that can get to it is his dark elf. And he moves his dark elf to a position, and it ends up getting surfed afterwards. And so the elf gets injured there, and that's bad. And so Jim secures the ball and is basically forced to score, but now Sean ends up with the ball back in his hands without the dark elf, the major scoring threat for the team. And if you look at the log, the goblin also gets injured somewhere in there, the goblin being probably the second biggest scoring threat because it can be thrown. And so Jim wins the game 2-1 on an elf blitz, which is nightmare scenario. I think most teams, like if you set up on offense and you're not you sell out for the blitz or whatever it is, and you're just not where you are in position, and it gets rolled, and you have like a blodger sitting underneath the ball and catches it. That's just, oh man, that sucks, right? Like there's not much you can do in that scenario. This has also put Sean in an extremely precarious position for his game against Ide because the Dark Elf got hurt seriously in this game. Not where you want to be.
Right, yeah. You're losing, like, your best threat. That Dark Elf hits all the boxes you need against the Black Orc team. Yeah. It is faster than anything you can put out. It's got the skills to stay standing.
Yeah. It's got its solid armor, right? Like, so even if you do get, like, a hit on it, there's a good chance that it can stand up, dust itself off, and get away. Yeah. So it's not like the player would get hit that often in the Dark Elf game, in the Black Orc game, but you rather have it than not have it. So
yeah. The other part of it too is like, so this puts, and we'll talk about more about this later, but like this puts Sean in a scenario where if he wants to guarantee his playoff spot, he needs a win or a draw.
Yeah.
And it's like your best shot at winning is like having the Dark Elf able to score. I think your best score, like if you are playing for a draw though, one of the best things you could do is play keep away with the ball with a faster piece with block dodge, which is that Dark Elf also. So if you're using your best tool to either win or draw the game for this week 13 matchup, that's gonna be what matters at this point. Yeah. So that'll be
back against the wall.
Yeah. And speaking of that, the other side of this week 13 matchup, the Barbarians and Loki Rat Bastards was a 2-1 win for Ide, which is what he needed.
Yeah.
To be in this scenario.
Yeah, he can't. He couldn't afford to tie any games. He needed wins, and yeah, he handled business against Austin. You can't help but wonder what would have been for Austin if he had a team that hadn't suffered the most deaths of any team in the season so far, right? So, Austin I think was out of the playoff contention last week, but. If one of the great things about Blood Bowl is if you're in a position where you're not going to get anything out of the game, you can always take solace in the fact that you can take something away from somebody else, right? And so Austin had a chance to kind of leave a mark on Ide, but I think fell short of that. I think just ended up getting his team pushed around. So
yeah, that's what we call alternate win conditions.
Yeah.
You're just
moral victories,
secret objectives that you're playing for in the game.
Right.
Yeah. Up next, we got some total body games. So we got your game, Looking for Trouble, and Slaughterhouse 11.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he was looking for that much trouble.
Yeah.
Or he found it.
Yeah. I do. First thing, I want to issue an apology to everybody in the league. I have finally thrown a foul. I threw one foul in this game, and it was to Casualty Morgue. So... for the record, I'm sorry. Just because I felt like maybe I could get through this whole season without throwing a foul. But I had Morg on the ground, and I took my shot. I think this is actually the second time I fouled Morg out of a game with this team. The first time was last season. I probably threw like a foul every 3 games or so last season. But my team wasn't scrapping for players like it was this season. I had all those strength downs at the beginning of the season, so I had to replace players as I was going. But headed into this game, I was down several people from our game because you did quite a number of serious injuries on my players. So I had a bunch missing this game. And so I opted to buy 4 Marauders before this game started. So that way I would have an extra piece. Because Goblins, while they're not great at winning Blood Bowl games, Goblins can be very good at hurting players. And so, in my head, if I was going to have to put 3 people on the line at one point in this game, I wanted to put 3 people on the line that I did not care if they died. I also did not want a pile of loner if I'm going to have to throw blocks with Marauders in the game because of Frenzy. There's a good chance I roll Skull both down, so I didn't want, and I'm not going to not throw hits against Goblins. I'm taking those 2-die blocks. I'm fishing for the POW. I've got Frenzy. I got a rebuys, right? So I bought some extra Marauders, headed into it, and I put the 3 Marauders on the line. Nate breaks armor on one of them. He has Morg blitz another Marauder, one that had skills, knocked it over, had to use Mighty Blow to break the armor and stun it. So I start my turn like with 7 standing people or whatever, because he did or 6 standing people. I think he threw a bomb. I think he successfully threw a bomb at a Bloodseeker and knocked him over too. Didn't break armor, unlike every other time a bomb has been thrown at a Bloodseeker. So I have to just like make do with what I've got standing. And turn 2, Nate was playing kind of cagey with Morg. He didn't want Morg in a place where the Bloodspawn could blitz him. So this has happened in a couple of games where the Bloodspawn and Morg kind of like orbit around each other like binary stars, where they never want to be in a position where the other one gets the alpha strike on them. So Nate like brings Morg back to his backfield to blitz one of the guys that had run around. Doesn't make it a 3-die block, which I think is mistake number 1. Rolls double skulls with Morg. Passes the loner check. Rerolls into double skulls. First activation of his model. So I go from a board position where it was sort of precarious into virtually complete control. And it was that fast. It was like a light switch on turn 2. And I basically took command of the game from there. And the result is what you see in tour play. An absolute slaughter began. The first casualty I got in that game was actually against like a troll. I spiked a high roll with one of the Bloodseekers into the troll, just rolled a 10 into an 11 or something like that, and he apothecaried to get the troll back in the game. My blitz on that turn casualties the loony, and then his next turn he stands Morg up, does make it a 3-die against my blodging Beastman, but doesn't roll anything to knock it over. And he ends up, I think he had 4 rerolls on the list, but he burned through all those really fast. Because I think he like failed to pick up the ball. I had enough tackle where when he was trying to dodge away from tackle pieces, he like failed one of those, was forced to re-roll it. He burned one on the Morg re-roll. So he was just like hemorrhaging re-rolls, which I think happens quite a bit with goblins. Your stuff, if you roll a 1, something stupid happens to your team. If you roll a 6, something stupid happens to the opponent, right? So he rolled a couple of 1s at the beginning there. There was like a go for it he didn't really need to make, that he rolled a 1 on. It was that type of thing where it was like compounding bad luck. And like I said, it was just as soon as my team had a chance to pounce on it, it was just tear his team to shreds. We re-rack, and at this point he was like burning through secret weapons, and it was just couldn't do any damage to my team, and it was just me just wiping goblins out of my way to get to the ball and then to go score. So I knocked Morg down and fouled him on that first drive, and then that meant he just didn't have anything that could stand toe to toe with my team, and so it was just beat on his team relentlessly after that. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, when there's a 4-0, like Nothing. You're not going to hear very many good things.
4-0 with like 7 casualties, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think like one of the injuries that he got was like dodged with the Ooligan away from a tackle piece, failed the dodge roll, armor break stunning casualty or something like. It was just, yeah. If he was looking for trouble, he found it. So.
All right, next game. I've got a game to talk about now. So What a Drag and the Wretched Foulfangs. It was a 2-1 win for me. So, like I said, I watched Joel and Halen playing, and the thing I noticed when watching it was that Joel is addicted to the one-turn touchdown. It was the thing I most noticed. So going into the game, my thought process was like, if I win the kickoff, I'm going to kick. I'm going to set up a defense in a way where it's like kind of enticing the one turn, but where if he decides to, I kind of had like a inflection point where it's like if he wants to go for the one turn, he can make it happen. He's going to have to like roll some dice to make it work. But if he decides to cage up, because he had taken Bomber for the game, so I set up in a way where it's like, if he decides he wants to put Bomber in and, have him set up somewhere, I can like have Piranhas in a place where the Piranhas can just be like targets, because they are like stunty slayers at this point, because they're both like block tackle, very fast,
sure.
Hit and run, so they can get away from things. So it's like those are the pieces that I want to have kind of threatening on the side, to also kind of have them in a position to where he wants to one turn to kind of get away. So
I'm just going to interject here to talk like a little bit of strategy. I've been doing a lot of like I formations with my tackle pieces. And the idea being, if my opponent commits to one side or the other, if my tackle pieces are dead center of the board, 7 spaces to the center, then they can go to either side, right? If they just decide to run a gutter runner all the way to the sideline and not score, if you're like too far up, you might not be able to get back and touch them and stuff like that. So I'll usually have like one in the sweet spot and then one like a square up, or stuff like that. I've been trying that out, and I've been enjoying that. If people commit to one side or the other, and I kind of with Corn, you want people to commit to like one of the sidelines, because then you just start crowd surfing people. So
yeah.
If you got, have you put any Frenzy in your team yet, or
not yet?
Okay.
So
I liked having that one of Frenzy piece on Amazon's, because you can, your team plays on the sideline so well, right?
Oh wait, I had one. You killed it.
So. Oh, I'm sorry.
So set up. I set up, and I had put a blitzer. She was just like one square back from the line of scrimmage, because like I don't want to get quick snapped into Rat Ogre, but I'm like, I have side steps, I can be over here and be fine. If he decides to try to blitz there, I'm like, I can get around and move backwards things. And when he sets up, he sets Bomber up on the wing, on the first drive, that was like within throwing range of the Piranha I put out. He sets up for the one turn, and I kick, and he goes for it, and his first thing he does is throws a bomb and KOs the blitzer. And I'm like, okay, like I've got the Jaguar kind of ready over there to like also
Jaguars are also good against stunties, because you can get to 3 if they've got block a lot of times.
So I was like, okay, I got a 3-die block on Bomber on the next turn, and he goes to, the next thing he does is go for the pass, which another great thing about Amazons is you have both throwers on the ball, which are like able to kind of jam themselves into situations.
Yeah, you can reposition, right? So once upon a time, pass interference in Blood Bowl, you could only use it if it would result in your model touching either the reception target or the thrower, or give you an interception chance. But on the ball does not say that anymore. So, like, if your opponent goes for a one turn, you can actually reposition your throwers in an interesting way to try to bungle that.
So he goes for the pass, and he throws to the gutter runner. The gutter runner was on the line and actually marked by 2 people. So it was a 4+, and doesn't catch it. So the ball bounces. So he didn't get his blitz off. And I go up base bomber and
So
throw some hits.
So that's probably inexperience there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually probably want to throw the hits. First off, you want to throw the hits in a lead game anyway because you want the SPP.
Right.
Secondly, you need the player standing until you're done with the chain pushes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually do want the players that are marking the gutter runner on the ground after it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Because you want the catch to be as easy as possible, and most likely the catch would be a 2-up on the gutter runner.
Yeah, and that just seems like a thing. I think in the Halen game, the gutter runner was kind of set off to the side, so it was like a 3 to catch, and he never had a problem with that.
Yeah.
So
3 with rerolls are reliable, right?
Yeah. 4 less reroll is not gonna be
Yeah.
not nearly as reliable. So the ball ends up on the ground. I kind of swarm around it, and because at this point I'm like, okay, game on. Like I actually have a chance to like steal the ball here. So the first half just kind of goes in the way that I was pretty happy for it. I surf bomber, so that was something I was really looking forward to, and end up scoring. And I also had taken the rat ogre out for the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Was the other part. Fouled it out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so he still got like 1 turn shots, but I'm like, the threat level of his team to my team is significantly lower.
Right. Underworld's interesting in that way where they're probably at their maximum power at the beginning of the game. And it's kind of that way with a lot of the stunty teams, especially if they rely on secret weapons.
Yeah.
Their power lies in the damage that can be done before the first score is made. But if something goes wrong, those things aren't effective. You take the ball, you even hurt some of the high strength targets, then it's like impossible for those teams to get back in the game.
Yeah. So I scored on like turn 7. He has like 2 turns to score, and I'm like, I kind of set up in a way where I'm like, if this ball ends up on the ground again, I want to have a run for it because I can score in 2 turns. Like I could like possibly score. So I'm like, I kind of set up as if I could get a blitz, like playing for that, because I'm like, if I get a blitz, these piranhas are in the backfield, and if he tries to run the ball up to the line again and it falls somewhere in there, I can pretty easily get to the ball and have a pass and then chuck it to a piranha and have them run it in. But didn't end up happening. He got the score, so we were tied at the half. And then in the second half, I was in a position now where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to score when I can. Like, I'm going to take my hits. Got a ton of casualties in this game. I got like 5. Yeah. So that was like, I was like peeling players off at a good enough rate where I was like, I will be able to just kind of like walk this ball in and then put him in a position where he can't 1 turn on like the next possession. Because I was like, now I'll actually play the defense.
Yeah.
Because I think my team is like set up in a way where if I want to deny the 1 turn, I can just do that. Like, I've got the player, like, if it's the quick snap thing, we have learned how to prevent the quick snap from happening. You just like put people up so they can't have it up square. But also like the combination of like on the ball, if you need to like pass to get the throwers into a position, or also having sidestep everywhere. Like on the blitzers, like if I have the blitzers on the wings, on the line, I didn't want to put them up there at the start of the game because the blitzer had like mighty blow, and I'm like, I don't really want to risk it.
Yeah, and you don't want like rat ogres also.
Yeah, rat ogre being another huge one. So,
but if the rat ogre's out, then you know.
So like I could like sidestep if I needed to, and ended up at the end of the game taking out. I actually took the blitzer out on the last turn, getting 1 more casualty. So yeah, it was a 2-1 win. It was an important game just for skills, so I ended up having enough SPP to get a stat up on my other Jaguar. So I have 2. They're both identical, twinsies again. So block guard, mighty blow, movement 7.
Yeah, 7. I mean, 7 with 4 strength and block dodge is like ugly. Like that's.
Yep. And I finally got Sneaky Git on my dirty player after like 5 games of sitting there. So
Now it can begin the highlight reel for her.
Yes. Next, we've got Arbor Vitae and second act. Squorg Snowpelt mention.
Yeah. I admire Halen's willingness to try out star players that probably haven't been played in leagues. However, I don't think Squorg was the right call for this game. He is cool. He's a cool model.
Yeah.
I love the GW one.
Yeah.
It looks sick.
Yeah.
But I think like Ivar would have been disgusting in this game. Plus Griff is just really, really good, right?
Yeah.
And so Wayne mentioned that at one point Squorg was hitting on the tree, just like smashing it, and that's got to be kind of nerve-wracking. Squorg is an interesting piece because he doesn't have the negative trait that comes with most of the Yetis. However, he doesn't have Frenzy either. So he's got Juggernaut but no block. So apparently what happened in this game is that like Squorg ran into the tree, and then eventually the tree just dealt with Squorg, right? You gotta put the tree on the ground if you're hitting it with like a block claws guy, especially if you're armor 9. The chances of the crackback going wrong are too high. That, So I think Wayne just kind of like dealt with nobility, which is pretty common for elves versus nobility. Honestly, I would play nobility more in tournaments because they usually get favorable tiers. And I know the team is like overpriced. I know all that, but I still love the team.
Yeah.
The problem is your elf matchups are awful. They're really bad because you might be able to squeeze 1 tackle in the list. Maybe you're a mad lad and you get 2 tackle on that list, but the problem is that you can't punish the elf teams like a lot of the other bash teams do. You can't get the damage on them. You don't have a dedicated brawler or anything like that can just really peel elves off the table. So I don't love this matchup on paper before you even start. From what I heard, though, Halen gave Wayne a pretty good game. And there was definitely some times where Wayne was worried about the safety of some of his players, especially as you're creeping up on the playoffs. You don't want Squorg touching, like if he actually does knock somebody down, that can be a little scary. Plus, any random foul on a good player, can be the last thing that player sees. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think one of those ones where like the box score makes it seem like it probably wasn't close, but like
from what I hear,
you can have a hard fought to.
From what I hear, because Maple is a threat. Like Maple, Halen did pick right with Maple because Maple is disgusting into elves.
Yeah.
And so you can make up for weaknesses on the team with like a proper star player inducement package. And I think if Halen had gone Maple and Ivar, pick up a tackle, and then you have got the tentacles on Maple, and the guard and tackle on Ivar. Plus, raiding party is really good against elves because a lot of times what elves want to do is they want to stay away from you. So you would have both Maple and Ivar's abilities, which are Ivar is once a drive and Maple's is once a half. Like you actually have a ton of movement that just messes with elves. Mm-hmm. You could have a wacky scenario where you raiding party someone into an elf, right? And you get a block. And so that sets up a push. And then you can Maple 2 space away block with grab. And you could have a player end up getting surfed from like 3 spaces away or something like that on the sideline. With all the movement tricks, it would just be like impossible to play around if you were like comboing those together, right? You could even raiding party Maple into another player, then use Maple's reach for another 2 squares away. There's wacky stuff that can happen. So,
yeah, that's definitely a combo of star players I'd like to try out.
Yeah, I wonder, like it would be that's like can you get that to into a human list for a tournament, right? I don't know. A lot of lists maybe don't let humans take 2-star players, but you take like a bunch of human linemen, a couple human blitzers, maybe a thrower, a couple of rerolls, but you take Ivar and Maple, and you're getting to do wacky stuff that people aren't prepared for. You're like like I said, the positioning game that those 2-star players would present to people is just like this lamentation configuration of like, it's, figure it out or die, or figure it out and still die, right? Like so.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we've got talking about dying. Soul Peak Dooms and Clobbering Catastrophe. This game happened last night. 1-0 win for the Orcs. It seems like it was like pretty close. There was like a lot of bloodshed back and forth in the first half, and then there's like one catastrophic turn in the second half where Frankenstein casualtied himself, and then Henderson took like 2 more players off the pitch in the following turn.
Yeah.
So it was just like a quick -3 for Jack, and he couldn't recover.
Yeah. Yeah, they were playing in a blizzard. Do you think that had an impact? I would think that would hurt the undead more.
Well, it changed to very sunny.
Okay.
At one point in the game.
Yeah, which is irrelevant.
Like they don't
is
care because
passing.
they're not throwing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like a blizzard for a moment, and then I think it immediately swapped. So, yeah.
I was gonna say I can imagine the blizzard, like just mummies just slipping around on the ice, just Scooby-Doo sound effect noise.
Then our last Week 12 game we've got to talk about is Oops, Mostly Nerdlings and the Necromantic State Hellhounds.
I love a good grudge match, man.
Yeah, well, if it was not a grudge match before, any future game will certainly be a grudge match.
Yeah. Well, so I think if you go back, the very first game Chase and Jennings played in the modern era was like in the preseason for season 2. I think there were like 15 fouls thrown in that game. It was a preseason game. There's like no reason to even throw the fouls, but both of them were just like fouling each other back and forth. It's funny. I think that's just been the case when these players meet. Is that both of them are just trying to hurt the other person's players as much. Now, obviously, Chase has got an advantage in this scenario because there's like one player on the team he cares about. And John did actually injure that player, but John definitely came out of the game worse for the wear.
Yeah, of course we have our in memoriam section, but we have to talk about the abandoned artist. Was like such. I think that was like over 20% of his SPP or something like that.
It was 60 something SPP. It was a player that he brought back, and it's. John has he's played the Shambling, right? I don't know if you remember the strength 4 white that he had. I'm willing to bet that both the abandoned artist and that white are combined for more SPP than some players get in a season. Between the two of them, but they both died, right? An animated sheet bent on killing people does have a preset kill limit. A preset being killed limit. There's only a certain number of times you can be killed before you die. So
some of us have higher numbers than others. But prior to this game, obviously you look at like the honor section on Tour Play, and Jennings was in the top 5. I think he might have been like 3rd or 4th.
He was up there for sure.
Yeah, I think he was 3rd. And he has dropped off after losing his player. So, just to show how big of an impact that is, like...
It's a lot. It's interesting, I think, when you're looking at SPP on teams and looking at SPP on players. There's actually... Blood Bowl is brilliantly designed in so many different ways. And I think one of my favorite parts is the diminishing returns on achievements in a game, right? Like if you have a player who's really good at hurting people, like the abandoned artist was, right? You need so many more SPP before you can get that incremental gain. And a lot of skills give you like a huge amount of gain really fast, right? Like block gives you a huge boost. Mighty blow gives you a huge boost. Tackle, like all of those give you like efficiency in killing players, and then it drops off, right? Like the advantage that you get once you've got like block, tackle, mighty blow versus hitting people, like it just starts to plummet, right? Obviously guard is good, but that doesn't make you better at killing models once they're on the ground. It just makes it more likely that you can put people on the ground. And there are scenarios on the board where like guard doesn't do anything, but like once you've got like a whole laundry list of skills, like what do you give this player to make them better, right? I think the Wraith is interesting because that's probably the most advanced Wraith we've ever had. We've had a ton of necromantic teams played in the league, right? But this is like the first time a Wraith was brought over, I think. So,
yeah, I think the one upside, or like I guess solace you can grant, is that a rookie Wraith is still solid.
It's still very good.
Starts out with block. Like I think if you lose, like comparing losing the Wraith to losing the Werewolf the week before, the Werewolf is a much bigger blow.
You have way more invested in a Werewolf.
Yeah.
Plus, the Werewolves are what you need to actually win the game.
Yes.
Wraiths are excellent defensive pieces. It's crazy how good they are when you need to, like, if you just jam them on a sideline, you can. You're allowed to do that, right? They got sidestep. I remember playing Necro into Chaos Dwarves in the postseason, and I stuck a Wraith on a Minotaur in that game, and the Minotaur was an absolute menace. But the Minotaur has to make a check to activate. Then it's got to make a check to hit the Wraith. And then the Wraith gets to go where it wants to. And so the scenario that happened in the game was the Minotaur hit my Wraith. It sidestepped onto the ball carrier. The Minotaur hit my Wraith again. Didn't knock it down. I sidestepped onto the ball carrier, like just still in the scrum. There was no other good block to throw, and so the ball carrier had to dodge away from my Wraith and failed the dodge, right, with a reroll. And so, like, the Wraith is a piece that can just absolutely mess up an opponent's turn if things go awry, right? So, and you can do that with like a rookie one, right? Like you don't need, the Wraiths do not need a lot of help to be really good players.
Yeah. So that's the first half of Jennings, like nightmarish ending of the season is over. Then we had another huge undead shakeup happen in our Week 13 catches. We had Ragged Bone and the Gondolin Glory Hounds. 2-1 win for the Elves.
Yeah, the winner of Sean Bowl is Jim.
Apparently, yeah.
Jim beat the Shauntlet.
He's the Sean Disputed champion. So yeah. So looking at the box score for this game, Jim got like up 2-0, and Sean was in a position where he like needed some like miracles to happen. Miracles are a lot harder to happen when you lose a star ghoul. Yeah.
We would probably talk more about this ghoul being dead if it weren't for the abandoned artist dying, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's been a mantra on this podcast that you are only renting ghouls. You don't own them as an undead, coach. You're just renting them.
Up next, we had Those Who Wander and Tryhards. 3-0 win for Chaos Chosen. Not super surprising, I don't think.
So Chaos Chosen is a team that is very good into elves. Okay, you're not so slow like say Black Orcs or Undead in a lot of ways where you get outmaneuvered by the elves, and you're chosen and are just a very difficult problem for elves to solve, right? You have all these 4-strength pieces, which means you can often bully the elf player, which means they have to make dodges away from you. And Will's got 1,000 skills on his team that all make dodging more difficult. We had a report that armbar resulted in a KO during the course of the game, right? And so I think armbar is one of those skills that, like, if it ever did anything, you'd be like, yay! But what actually happens in the game is probably a game-breaking effect, right? Because your opponent fails a dodge and then is actually down a piece.
Yeah.
And that is like always a bad scenario. If during your turn you lose a model.
Yeah. It's just, well, like, especially because, like, the prevailing thought in the season is that you dodge away from a scary piece of Mighty Blow because the ground does not have Mighty Blow. But now, if it's got an armbar,
it does.
The ground's got Mighty Blow.
The ground's got Mighty Blow. It's not supposed to have that. Yeah. What are we, playing gutter ball?
Yeah, exactly. Or... What, is there another variation that does that? Maybe one of the special pitches that they have?
Yeah, maybe some of the special pitches. I think, what was it? Beach Bowl, you have -1 because the sand doesn't hurt as much.
If you're dodging away and you fall, it's a -1 to armor.
Yeah.
If you get knocked over by a player, it's +1 because
yeah.
you're not wearing your armor.
Right.
So
right.
It's interesting play. We'll start a Beach Bowl league at some point. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Will's just in control of this game and seemed to be kind of the move.
Every Beastman gets to blitz for 4 strength, so it's not like you have to like set up. You don't have to compromise your board position to set up 2-die blocks into elves when you've got that much 4 strength that you can exercise against them. So I do think Chaos Chosen is actually like a really bad matchup for elf teams, particularly Dark Elves, right? Because the Dark Elves want to scrap more than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
So
Wilson especially, he's got multiple tackle, he's got multiple prehensile tail.
Yeah.
He's got, I think, one of the pieces is prehensile tail and tackle maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think that piece may even have block now. So yeah, lots of ways it can go wrong. He did end up with a. It's got wrestle.
Okay.
So yeah, it's it also has 2 heads, so you can actually dodge it into interesting places to make things more difficult for the opponent. But yeah, wrestle, prehensile tail, tackle makes it like a really annoying piece for elf players.
Yeah. And then we got so he's got stat up on a Beastman he can take now.
We don't know what it is, right?
Pending improvement.
We're waiting to see. He's actually probably waiting to see what he's playing in the first week.
Yeah, makes sense.
Of the playoffs, so. And
last game to talk about, which is like the game to talk about, I think, anyway. Skaven Blight Skitter Stars and Arbor Vitae. The score was Skaven Blight Skitter Stars 2. Arbor Vitae 2.
Yeah. So I said that the note that I had written down for this was the climactic showdown first ends in an anticlimactic draw.
Yeah.
Now, I think if this game had gone to overtime, I think the Skaven probably win this game because the report that I had gotten was that the Wood Elf team was on the ropes. Mm-hmm. They had taken a significant amount of damage during the course of the game. Coop apparently even took out 3 War Dancers in the game, despite the fact that there's only 2 on the roster, because I think turn 1 or 2, it either got casualtied or fouled out of the game. One of the War Dancers did, had a badly hurt, and so they were apothecaried to be put back in the game, and then got casualtied again later. So one of the War Dancers got a movement down, which is not glue territory, but you might be tempted to think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly hurts the efficacy of that.
I think it's justifiable. Like, you have a piece that starts with block dot. Like, starting out, like, being able to hire a blodger is, like...
I think you take a look at who you're playing week 1 of the playoffs. If you think... So, if your opponent's got sure hands, maybe you fire the War Dancer and bring in the rookie one to try to get them the stuff, because your strip ball is less effective versus sure hands people. However, if during the course of that game you don't have strip ball and your opponent is just putting the ball on whoever, you might feel like a donkey, I think. Yeah. Right? Like the strip ball is obviously really good for the cage dive when your opponent doesn't have sure hands. But strip ball is a very good fail safe for when things go wacky. during the course of the game. If you end up in a goofy scrum and somebody has the ball they're not supposed to, like a big guy or whatever, right? Somebody spikes a 6 as the balls bounce around a bunch of tackle zones. If you're playing against like a Saurus and the Saurus ends up with the ball, I think you're going to end up wanting strip ball. So I don't know. It's a tough call. Yeah. I'm generally of the opinion that movement down is one of the things you don't fire somebody over, especially if they've been developed. You've got sidestep that's kind of like a movement up sometimes, not always, but sometimes. It does make going for the ball more difficult. I think you just have to be like a little bit more careful. Yeah. I don't know.
That to me, just like from the games I've watched, that's just what I've seen play. I think like those war dancers are using their 8 movement every turn, and that's I think the scary part, where it's like you are going to be rushing. Like you are adding in extra rushes.
And I get it. Wayne's squeamish about the snake eyes, but like you're losing to snake eyes anyway with elves, right?
Yeah.
It depends on which snake eyes do you want to lose to, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean I don't know. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I don't know. I can empathize either way. Like if you want to reset, fine, but like. If the game goes sideways, like if Wayne ends up playing against like a Clay in the first round, he's probably going to wish he had sidestep. I mean, not sidestep, but strip ball, right? You play against Sean, right? You play against the Renegades. Renegades are like a tie from in the Ide Sean game means the Renegades are in. Against Renegades, you're going to want strip ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just have to see what you're paired up against, I think, and then make the decision then. So
right. Yep. Yeah. The post game thing I saw was marked as a draw that felt like a loss. I can see both sides honestly saying that. Like
Coop would have locked up first.
Yeah.
With a win. And Wayne right now is sitting in first.
Yeah.
We'll cover the playoff stuff in more detail in a bit, but Wayne's in first. You whoever in the other division you're playing in 8th is like fighting for the playoff spot, and so it would feel really good to play into a team that's like desperate for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But losing that movement on the war dancer. I think you're lucky that you didn't lose anything else during the course of the game based off of how many injuries were dealt.
Right.
That it could have gone side. We've seen some other teams get decimated.
Yeah.
And so, it could have been ugly. So yeah, I mean it doesn't feel clean, a game like that, for sure.
Okay, we got our in memoriam section for the week.
Oh yeah.
Now, so it's the Jocker games.
I think this was probably one of the more concentrated.
Yeah.
Sections.
Yep. Over the course of 2 games, second act had 3 Des, 2 journeymen, and Allison Dali.
Yeah, I actually think there's a class action lawsuit that the retainers could probably level against Halen.
Probably. At
this point. They're there to do a job. Halen has put them in harm's way, and I know the name of the game is Blood Bowl, but I feel like the retainers are unfairly targeted. His coaching decisions have disproportionately affected journeyman retainers, and I won't stand for it.
Okay, well, you can get started on that class, I guess. Walking up to the Imperial Nobility players, like, do you know you have rights? The core rulebook says you do. And then, up next for the Jolly Rotters, we lost a Lousy Bum.
Yeah, which is the zombie name generator is undefeated in my opinion.
Yes.
A Lousy Bum joins the likes of Wretched Pervert and other players who have died
Yep.
with just killer names.
Yep.
So
Up next, I know this is going to be a shock, but the low-key rat bastards added a few more people to the in memoriam section. We had Gunjahi, which is a snotling, and then President Loki reelected.
yeah, he died again.
Yep.
Turns out, Austin not content killing players who haven't died. He's back around to killing players who have died.
Yes, that is my last game is against him with halflings, and unfortunately, I will not be able to complete the clean sweep of killing all of his positional Skaven because the gutter runner got injured and is missing the game.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we'll not get to do that. But then we had a Nurgling for oops, mostly Nurglings. I'm sure Chase is really broken up about that.
Yeah.
Then a couple we talked about already. The one we didn't talk about for Necromancy Hounds was Sour Barbarian. Another excellent name.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And then, of course, the Abandoned Artist and Cash Smear for Ragged Bone.
Yeah, both of those are big hits for teams that are looking to make deep playoff runs, right? Losing block, dodge, 8 movement on a ghoul is a scoring threat that you really are gonna miss, right? Yeah. There's a world where, there's a world where you need that ghoul to win a game, and it's got movement that you didn't have access to, right? Otherwise, and that's so many devoted resources that are just gone.
Yeah,
like sands through the hourglass.
Yeah, looking at the take a quick look at the stats. That's the 5th ghoul that Sean has had die this season.
Yeah, that's a lot of dead ghouls.
So, yeah.
Disproportionately killed ghouls.
Yeah, it sounds like you're just feeding ghouls into the casualty machine at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's our in memoriam section. We're going to take a quick break and then come back with some more playoff talk. Okay, we got a slightly clearer playoff picture now. A couple things that we can talk through. We got some scenarios.
Yeah.
We can kind of talk through.
Right.
So, leg day division. Jurgen is number 1.
He's locked up. He's got 2 games to play. That's a very cozy lead.
Yeah.
Now, one of them is against Juan, who, if Juan wins both of his games, he jumps up into 2nd place.
Right. Yes.
So I don't know what you want if you're Jurgen. If Juan is in 2nd place, then you don't have to play him until the finals. Mm-hmm. However, if you beat Juan, then he's probably 5th, or if you beat Juan, he's like locked into 5th, right? Because he has he has to win both of his games to advance out of 5th.
So if he wins both games, I have it laid out.
Okay.
In the sheet, it's playoff predictor TM, copyright, whatever. So 2 wins. Juan would go to 2nd. Will is 3rd. Jim is 4th. Sean is 5th. If Juan wins and draws, I believe the way the tiebreakers play out is he would tie with Jim and Sean at 26. So Juan would go to 3rd. Jim is 4th. Sean is 5th.
Okay. So win draw.
Yes.
Is a scenario that I wasn't prepared for. I still think in terms of win loss, right?
Yeah. So win and draw would put. So if Juan loses a game, he's in 5th, which means that he's in the same bracket as Jurgen, and would play him potentially in the 2nd round.
Yeah. If he's already lost once, then
Yeah.
Logic would state that he's probably not favored if they did meet up again.
Yeah. With a win and a draw, if Juan went to 3rd, that would mean that they're in the same bracket, but they wouldn't play until the finals because they'd be in the opposite side of that bracket.
Yeah,
they wouldn't play until the bracket finals. To play for the championship.
Right.
So that could also be a scenario that plays out depending. It's like if you can't get rid of him from your bracket, if you can't banish him to the other bracket, it's like possible consideration of the thing. It's like, maybe the best case scenario is he ends up on the other side.
Yeah, and the Juan's building his team to actually score points for the playoffs too, right? Like he's heavily invested in Stilty Runos, and so a dwarf player would be greatly incentivized to take them out, right?
Yes.
So it's interesting. I mean, that's a matchup we're all looking for, right? Like it's gonna be big either way.
Yeah. I think dwarves are like the natural enemy of snotlings.
Yeah.
So
you got enough armor where like the dirty tricks don't equate into just dead players, and Thick Skull actually does a whole lot of work in that game because the difference between a KO'd player and a stunned player against these stunty teams is huge, right? A player you have to roll to get back on the field versus somebody who is just there is all the difference.
Yeah. I think even also the way that Jurgen has his team built, he's not giving like the crazy amounts of money that you might give. Like, Juan will still be able to get most of like pretty much anything he wants, but he's not going to get the accessories. He's not going to like the extra. Like, you might not be able to afford a wizard or something like that. Like, he's not going to get all the luxury snotling items. Just as a product of Juan's team value being a little higher and Jurgen being a little bit leaner on his team value versus other teams.
I still think if you're going into that team or in that game as Jurgen, I don't think you can afford just 11 or 12. I think you got to go into it with like 14, 15. You got to go into it expecting you to lose line dwarves, right? Mm-hmm. And a rookie line dwarf is totally fine for that matchup, right? Yeah. Because you start block tackle really good against snotlings.
Yep. Yeah. So
you probably even put 3 rookie line dwarves on the line. If the snotling player wins the roll, you just put 3 rookie line dwarfs on the line and tell them to have fun, right? Yeah.
So those are our Juan scenarios. Our Sean scenarios. So Sean's currently 7th. If he wins, he will go to 6th. That is like the easiest thing for him. Just win the game and you're locked in. If he gets a draw, he's also locked.
Yeah, but
I think
7th, right?
It'll be either 7th or 8th, depending on Clay.
Okay.
At that point.
Yeah.
With a loss, he needs things to happen at that point.
Yeah.
Namely, a Clay draw to force a 3-way.
Right. So that way the head-to-head doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So also another part of that is he needs to lose, like his loss has to be like by 1 touchdown, like a 1-0, a 2-1, in order to keep the touchdown differential advantage.
Yeah.
So those are the situations for that. Clay, he's in if he wins.
Yep.
Easy as that. If he doesn't win, then I think that if he loses, then it's going to come down to, I think at that point it is just hoping that Ide also loses. Like other things that happen alongside that. Like a loss or a draw for Ide helps Clay. And then, Ide, he is in as long as he wins, and Clay doesn't draw.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, that's funny.
He still needs help.
Yeah. A win plus help.
Yeah, he's still win plus help. And then the dark horse coming off of a scenario that could happen is Barbie has multiple games outstanding.
Yeah, she has to run the gauntlet.
Yes, but if she runs the gauntlet, she's at 18 points.
Yeah.
And so and that would also involve beating Clay.
Yeah.
So
I think she lost to Sean. So I think I'm not. So you need
she needs Sean to
lose,
win or draw.
She needs Sean to lose, right? Sean lose, so he's at 18. She's at 18. Ide's at 18, and then you got a 3-way scrum. Something like that.
So she can't win the 3-way.
Okay.
Just based on touchdown differential.
Okay.
So what she needs is a Sean.
She does if she
Sean not to lose,
Okay.
and her to win out.
Okay.
And because her winning out,
she goes to the 8th spot. Yeah.
yes,
I got
her
you,
winning out necessitates Clay losing. So
Yeah. Right.
that's kind of that's like the darkest of horse scenarios.
Yeah.
That we can build, but
still fate in her own hands, right? Like she wins all 3.
yeah, if she wins all 3, then
she's in. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in, barring.
What kind of odds would you put on that? I would put Barbie winning against Jurgen, Juan, and Clay in like quad skull territory.
Well, I mean, you talked about one this week, so you know.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible.
I mean, if
it's Blood Bowl, wacky things can happen.
Yeah, are we doing like Vegas odds? Style thing?
Yeah, we're talking like if I put $100 on Barbie, how much money do I win if she makes the playoffs, right?
So that is so. The other thing too is that it needs to be, she's Sean. So that's Sean win. So doing a parlay, it's like odds of it, right?
Yeah.
So that is Sean to beat Ide, then Barbie to beat Jurgen, beat Juan, beat Clay.
That's probably the least probable route to the playoffs that we would have seen at this point, right? If all that occurs.
Yeah.
Based off of what we've seen in the league. I'm not writing her off because she's tied some heavy hitters and she's won some games this league, right?
Yeah.
The
team can just score.
Yes.
And if
I mean, my rationale in Blood Bowl typically is take touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because once you've scored, that is literally the only thing in the game that can't be taken from you, right?
Yeah.
Everything you can lose so much other stuff in the game. There's always so many things that can go wrong, but a touchdown on the board is something that cannot be taken from you.
Yeah. So that, I don't know. I mean, I would say I'm not like a professional odds maker or anything. Sure. Please don't come after me. Any sort of sports betting regulation agencies or whatever. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think we have those anymore.
Okay, that's probably true.
I think the online gambling lobbies have dispatched those.
Yeah.
So all it took was some free credits to FanDuel, and those agencies folded.
Yeah. Our official DraftKings pick of the week.
Our DraftKings pick of the week for
not actually sponsored. Hashtag not an ad. But I don't know. Maybe I'll say plus 4,500. I don't know.
Okay, fine. That sounds good. Yeah.
So,
I'll go with it.
So, yeah, that's our leg day stuff. Total body. So Wayne is currently in the lead.
Yes.
Wayne has played all his games.
Yes.
Jennings is currently second.
Yes.
He is 2 points behind Wayne with 1 game to play. So, with a win, Jennings would jump to first. Wayne would go to second.
Yeah.
With a draw, any other scenario that plays out, or with a draw, actually, this matters because there's another game out that could affect stuff. With a draw, Jennings locks up second.
Yes. Because he has a win over Henderson, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With a loss in a Henderson win, Henderson goes to second, Jennings will go to third.
Yeah. And Coop is pushed all the way down to fourth.
Yes. Yeah. So that is kind of the situation, how that'll play out. I think that as far as other people in the league, I think I'm locked at being no higher than fifth, barring a Henderson loss. If Nate pulls the upset on Henderson, and I could jump him, but otherwise, I'm probably looking at fifth. So looking at who's very interested in who's going to be in that fourth place slot at this point.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of maneuvering that can happen.
Yeah, it's probably. I think that in any scenario, it is either Jim or Sean. But if I am fifth, I cannot play Juan, so that's kind of a relief. But yeah, so that's where Jennings is at. The next couple spots and the thing, like I said, I think I'm locked at fifth. I'm capped at fifth. If I lose or draw and you get the win against Jennings, you can jump me and I go to sixth. but somewhere in that like 5th to 6th range is kind of where I'm going to be most likely.
Yeah.
With if I lose and Chase wins his remaining games, I guess I could go to 7th. But that's so 5th to 7th is where like kind of I'm at. You are also like in that 5th to 7th range.
Yeah, I'm
Chase
like
is in that.
I'm a half step behind you because you've got a draw, whereas I've got a loss. So I will always be trailing you by a couple of points. So.
Yeah, Chase is also in that 5th to 7th play.
Yeah,
just based on his outstanding games as well. So that's kind of how it's looking. And then we've got the craziness that can happen.
We got the big log jam
with 8th place.
Yeah,
there are, from everything we could tell, 5 teams in contention for this. So, number 1, the easiest is Joel with Red Foul Fangs. If he wins, he's got the highest point potential. He's got 1 game left. He's against Chase. So, it's a tough game, but if he gets it, he's in.
Right.
There's nobody else can catch him. Other than that, the next highest potential score that's outstanding is the Soul Peak Dooms. If Jack wins both his games, he's got
13
points. These last 2 games are Halen and Skoda. So the other funny part of this too is a lot of the people that are kind of scrounging are all going to have to play each other.
Yeah.
So it is like definitely just like the like pile up right before the finish line, and whoever can kind of stick their like road rashed arm out over the line is going to get there. So then and then the rest of the people could all end at 12. So in this group, we've got Warren with the Wolfpack. His last game is the Jolly Rotters, who is one of the only people that is out of contention.
Yeah.
Skoda at 12 points. His last game is also the Jolly Rotters. I think that seems that is accurate, I believe. I think there's some like asynchronous games going on.
Yeah.
It sounds weird when you say it in a row, but
Skoda's got the Soul Peak Dooms and the Jolly Rotters.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He's got 2 left. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 out. Then we've got Halen. His last games are Soul Peak Dooms and me. So I could spoil for Halen, but otherwise it's pretty much up to them.
Yeah.
Who gets in, which is a wild scenario to be in. But it's going to be...
They're fighting for the honor to be crushed by Jurgen's dwarf team, right?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we say that, but like they probably get to go into that game with $1 million in inducements.
They will get a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It would be... I can just imagine Jurgen talking about that upset for decades to come.
Yeah.
If that happened. He was like the number 1 seed going into the playoffs and then lost to whoever was in their 8th spot. Yeah. It would be really funny. I'm not trying to speak it into existence.
Okay, so yeah, we've got a couple games to talk about now, content farming aside. So yeah, our Week 13 games, I've got like 3 picked out that are going to be kind of impactful. So we got Darn Tootin's, Little Signs of Mayhem. Who knows what damage could be done?
Yeah. I don't think you want to go into that game without some extra players, right? Just because you don't want your good players getting hurt, right? And your extra players are good in the matchup for sure, right? The noble line dwarf versus the heathen snotling linemen, right? Like it was put on this earth to kill snotlings and to make their days miserable, which is good because snotlings need people to feel the way their snotlings need to feel the way people feel playing against snotlings, in my opinion.
So. I should bring back the How to Talk to Snotlings graphic for this one.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that one. I mean, yeah, that could like you can feast on snotlings as a dwarf player.
Yeah,
so.
you could walk out with a bunch of SPP and feel good about the game. Yeah. But if you get the wrong person killed, you're gonna feel terrible about the game.
Yeah. So see how that goes. Next up, the single most impactful game of this week that's left Renegades of Funk, and the Barbarians. Like, now the rest of the dust is settled around. We kind of have, like, this is the game. This is winning in.
Yeah, this is a big one. I think Sean's straining grip on sanity relies on a win in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think his team isn't bad into Black Orcs. And I has kind of made his team a meme with these goblins.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that Sean actually has players that are like good against those goblins, right?
Probably not.
You know, just I don't think he has enough tackle really to punish those goblins. And so he's missing the Dark Elf, which means he doesn't have like his good scoring threat. He might have to like fire the goblin and hire a goblin back just so that way he's got the one turn potential. Because going into the game, I would have one turn chances and Sean would not. And I'm not sure who's getting inducements, but they got to be comparable in team value.
Yeah. As of the time of this recording, the current inducement is Sean plus 120. So he's short of Skitter.
Yeah.
Or like another, something you'd want. Because I think Skitter would be a thing that he would absolutely take.
Yeah.
Skitter's absurd here.
Yeah.
Skitter's good against the goblins.
Yeah.
It's good at carrying the ball.
Yeah.
And like getting far enough away from everything.
Yeah. He's good against the goblins in multiple ways, right? Yeah. Now, I don't think you'd want a scenario where the Mighty Blow tackle, whatever goblin goes after Skitter. That would feel pretty bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't even need a Dauntless to to get there. But yeah, I mean, I think that game is like, it's crazy important. So
yeah. And our last game of the week is your game.
Yeah.
Just because that is potentially for first.
Yeah, I don't think I've played John since the Cup incident. So I think this will be a good way for me to exercise some demons, perhaps.
That's good.
I mean, I'm mostly trying to keep my team whole. I don't have to play against the silly bombing stuff like I've had to play against the whole rest of the season. I don't have to play against Morg, which I've had to play against multiple times this season. So his team can still do some damage. Those flesh golems are ugly. They're a little gross, but it's not as if my team is a pushover, right?
Yeah.
So he may try to play. He said he was going to try to play for the win, and I believe him. I don't think there's any reason to doubt that.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting like Wilhelm plus like Ivan. So that gives him a bunch of extra strength, but neither of those pieces are like Wilhelm is a little scary because of claws, but Jennings has played with claws. I've played with claws. Claws roll 7 for armor breaks. You just know it. Mm-hmm. So, and then Ivan is just like a dude. Right. He doesn't carry the ball. Wilhelm's actually probably the most relevant piece on the field because it's an extra ball carrier. Right. So there's probably a scenario where you do like a handoff to Wilhelm, and where he could score, and that would be difficult for me to defend against. But Wilhelm's got like wrestle, and I've got Juggernaut. So there's all kinds of things that can go wrong for Wilhelm or Ivan in that game for me. So I mean, I think it's a game. I haven't like put too much thought into it yet, but I fully intend to go into that game with 20 players or whatever, 16 players, and a bunch of rookie marauders, so that if I end up kicking to him, I'm going to give him things that I don't mind if they die.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to get interesting. We'll have some good games to talk about, hopefully. I think most of these important games are happening this week, so we'll have one to talk about next week.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you have games outstanding, get them in.
Get them played.
Yeah. Give us discourse, because I don't want to wait another week before playoffs run.
Right.
Yeah. But appreciate y'all listening. As always, make sure you're liking, following, take a picture of the audio waves of this to your local telephone poles, so people can look at it and see what we're talking about, stuff like that.
Cut and paste from magazines using letters. Have you heard the good news? And hand them to random people you find on the street.
Yeah. Anything, whatever it takes.
Yeah,
We know you
get it out there. Get it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.